everyone. My name is Wago Joy, and welcome to Conversations and Plugs, where African business stories come to life.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Clifford Kenyo, and welcome to Conversations and Plugs. And today on the show, I was trying to figure out how to introduce our next person sitting on the seat. I'll just say this. I think how to probably, let me just try and get this right. Number one, a celebrated African trumpeter. I'm a music influencer in Kenya. Lots of projects, an entrepreneur, management consultants, everyone. Meet Mackinlay Mutsembi. Welcome.
Welcome.
Is it good evening or good morning?
Wherever you are.
want, depending on the part of the world you're in.
Good day.
Good day, viewers.
Good day.
I'm super thrilled to be here on
Hamjambo, viewers.
Plug. Hamjambo, karibuni sana katika siku nyingine ya mazungumzo na Plug.
That's so funny because you actually grew up in Coast, right?
Yes.
In Kilifi.
In Mombasa.
Kisauni. Now, and the funny thing is, I think conversations we've had is something that stood out for me is this juxtaposing that you, from the Salvation Army to Nairobi.
Yes.
From the Salvation Army band to Nairobi.
Yeah.
What is that story?
Actually, the thing is, the founder of Nairobi Horns Project is from Mombasa.
Oh, is it?
That's me, right?
Yes,
Oh, that's you.
Yes.
So, yes, but the...
It's like just being modest.
I know.
The founder, that's me. Okay.
Actually, my home church is smack in the middle of a very Muslim neighborhood.
Wow.
So it's Seventh-day Adventist.
No, Salvation Army.
Salvation Army, sorry, yes.
It's smack in the middle of a very Muslim neighborhood.
Oh, yeah?
In a place called Kingorani, Majengo.
Mm-hmm.
There's a mosque called Masjid Musa. You've heard of
Masjid Musa for all the right and many...
for whatever reason.
And many other reasons.
Yes, so it's literally next to the church.
Yeah.
So every time the government had problems with terrorism, and then if someone disappears from the mosque, our church will get touched.
Oh, really? By whom? Okay.
Let's not.
Whoever you are, you know yourself.
Yeah, we see you.
Yes, but so from Mombasa to here, I think a bit late in life to settle, but I was here much earlier as a trumpet player when I was 17, I think.
Okay.
And then I went on to university from there.
Yeah.
And then I came back, I think, later, officially when I was, 29.
So 17, 29.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's when I relocated here fully. Actually, it was my 29th birthday. I should say, I'm leaving Mombasa for Nairobi. Or rather now, let's do this music thing as a serious thing. Yes. And that's been quite a ride.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's 10 years now.
10 years.
Yes. 10 years since I moved.
What would you tell the 29-year-old boy?
Oh, he was a man.
Man, sorry.
I think...
Inner child. The inner child in the 29-year-old man.
Moving to Nairobi to explore this thing.
It's cold Nairobi.
To be
a rural urban migration.
Wait.
I think be easy on yourself.
Be easy on yourself.
Yeah, be easy on yourself. Take it easy. Yeah, because I as a person, I don't do that enough. I think that's one of my things I like to change about myself.
And when you say you don't do that enough, what does that look like now?
I'm always like, let's do this.
Is it because of your creative process or excellence, perfection? What?
Just personality flaw, maybe. Like say small things like just be a bit patient when people are late.
Okay.
I mean, if I'm late, I get pissed off on myself.
So compromise for other people.
Just be easy, just live life. It's not about all that like being locked every time. Yeah. So I think, but it's been a nice a nice journey, I think, so far.
Yeah. Sometimes I look at the industry you're in, and I think a lot has been written, and especially when you look at you in the music industry.
Yeah.
That's one part, and I think that's probably one part guys know about you.
Yeah.
And I know there's many other things that we'll talk about, but how has the music industry treated you so far?
Very well.
Okay.
I think just from having, I kind of feel I came in at the right time also.
Yeah.
you did.
In terms of where there was
Which year was this?
20, I think, if I think of it, when I decided to become a musician, like professionally,
Yes.
that was in 2013. I was like, maybe I can just do this.
Okay. 2013.
After there's a tour I was on as an unprofessional musician. And then I came back and I was like, maybe this could be work. Because I had never looked at music as a job before.
Yes.
Or
was it just a passion? Or did you love it?
I liked doing it. I probably practiced more before I was a professional than I am now. But I just didn't connect it to money. Right? Like say you cook every day in your house. You don't think that's equal 50 shillings.
Yeah.
You know, but then some people do it for as a business. So that was me for a long time. Yeah, the passion has always been there. Music the primary thing is music has been a medium of expression for me.
Right.
Made me able to put my ideas to life, experiment things, hear sounds, because I hear a lot of things. That's things really worked for me is I hear a lot. In musical terms, hearing means you can conceptualize, things. So you can hear an entire orchestra sitting here, and you're like, yeah, that's the violin part. That's the second section of the song. You can hear that before you even put it down to paper. So I think just that creative outlet that has been beyond the work, beyond. It's given me meaning as a person. Yeah.
I'm trying to what I'm hearing is ikigai, but I don't know the third part. It's find what you love, get paid for what you love doing. And I think it's something about helping others or something like that. I feel like you're walking and living your ikigai. And what you're doing is also bringing so many people along with you on the journey. And we are in a very young continent and a very creative continent. And I love that you're here as a creative because a polymath. Are you a polymath? Is that what you're called? Poly?
What's a polymath, Wago?
It's a poly? Multi-passionate.
Oh, multi-passionate.
Yes.
I've had that term.
I've had that term as well.
Multi-hyphenate.
Multi-hyphenate.
That's from people who read books,
I got you.
Last time I read a book, my friend, it's been read with us.
It's okay. You're reading the book of life, so we'll take that as well. Yeah.
My mic is falling. But what I feel is that we're in a young continent and there's so many creatives that are trying to see how they can make a decent living, a living with dignity out of the experience. So how did you begin to marry what you loved to do and start to have money coming in from what you do?
I think there were instances that life kind of shocked me. That
tell us,
there's money for. It's a very profound thing when someone gives you money, right?
Yeah.
Like someone walks up to you and says, "Here is 1,000 shillings."
Yeah.
As a human being, you go like, "Why?" That's the first. If I came to Cliff is now like. Okay, you're like, okay, should I pay it? What's the reason for it? So, and then someone tells you the reason is music that you've been doing. You're like, oh, like you're paying for this. Yeah. So there was this time when I was working in, living in Kilifi, and there was a guy who they're looking for a violinist for a nice beach wedding, some destination kind of thing, right? And this is many decades ago, and they couldn't find a violinist. So somehow they got my name and said, there's a trumpet player, might just do what you want. And they literally wanted someone to play for the bride to walk down the aisle.
Yes, that's like 2 seconds.
Yes, literally they had 2 songs and that was it. So I was like, yeah, I can do it.
Play the violin?
The cornet. I was playing the cornet.
The cornet.
Yes, and there's a photo for this day. Actually, I have it on my machine. So, and then the guy asks me how much, and then I said, "Oh, how much?" Actually, so I just opened my mouth and just said 50,000, right? And then the guy was like, "Oh, will you take 40?" And I was like, I was shocked. It was literally a random
It's like, show me the money.
statement.
Yeah.
You know. And I made 40,000 bob playing 2 songs. And I got back on. I actually took a boda, went to the wedding. I told the guy to wait for me. I played the bride, walked down the aisle, gave me an envelope, and I left. You know, it was just after campus, you know, and went to buy a fridge and a carpet for my
priorities.
Yeah,
Which campus were you in though?
Moi.
Oh, you're in Moi University.
Yes.
Okay.
I did a degree called BA. Linguistics and Literary Studies.
I see.
You do read the books, huh? Yes.
It's been a while, you know. Yeah. So then I was like, I was surprised, like this thing can make this much money.
Yes.
Because then that money was probably what I was making in a month or close to at the office, you know, because I was just out of school.
Yeah, even now,
you know,
it's a great,
you know. So that was like a wake up. So like, oh, so but then of course for a long time there wasn't an opportunity to make the money out of it, and I spent years honing my skills as a jazz trumpet player. Because when I went to Kilifi's, when I was introduced to jazz, and this was like maybe my 5th genre. I mean, I had played for more than 10 years at that point.
Yeah.
So this was a new thing. It was challenging technically. So the geeky side in me was quite excited to try to figure out how to play this hard, you know, kind of stuff. Yeah. So I think that incident that I got the money from it, and then later on when I got on this tour and they were paying, I would have been happy to just go.
Salvation Army tour?
No, this is a tour called Out of Africa.
Okay.
A safari through magical Kenya. It was a play.
Okay.
It was a theater musical that we went to Europe for 4 months. It was a lot of work. It was 6 nights a week.
Oh yeah.
Of concerts.
But you toured in Europe, so I must be pretty cool.
I was just happy to go.
Yeah. Yes. It was like, let's go. And I'm getting paid.
And, you know, let me go and see snow and those things.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, so they were getting paid for it. But then I think on that tour, my eyes were open to now the professional side of the
music business.
Yeah. There was like tour manager, lights engineer. There were engineers. I didn't know there were engineers. Sound engineers, these things called mixers, all that kind of stuff, you know.
I find it fascinating in terms of your musical journey, and especially when you're looking back in terms of this journey, in terms of even looking at the Nairobi music scene. So you're coming into the Nairobi music scene. I know there's your tours of Europe.
Yeah.
And there's certain genres of music, or there's certain things, cultural things going on around music in terms of what is happening in the music scene and the club scene. And even in our discussions with you, there's been things in terms of how does a trumpet player become the lead singer, where you had bands where you had a lead singer who's a singer, but not instruments leading a gig. And what's that journey been like in terms of you shaping a whole industry as well? And what were your struggles? Like, how did that look like? Even before we come to the entrepreneur, like this is your musical journey.
Yeah. You know, that's a good question, because this has happened for centuries. Do you remember the story of the Pied Piper?
Oh my goodness.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So instruments have been used for fumigation, as
kidnapping children.
Kidnapping children and things. But yes, personally, first of all, I can't sing. Well, sang a bit, but I can't compare to
can't
people.
Sing, hold a note.
You know.
Yeah, he's just busy, just
you know. My singing talent is really small, I think. So I had to find a way to express myself.
Yeah.
And I was most comfortable doing that on the trumpet.
Yeah.
I mean, the trumpet is not the first instrument I played.
Yeah.
I had played the trumpet. Actually, is the last instrument
Yeah.
that I played.
Okay.
How many instruments have you played?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Everything in the brass band. My first instrument was a harmonica. You know, when your kids are
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
that's a proper instrument. That's
Yeah.
the first instrument I ever got with my older brother.
Yeah.
He came home with it and he said he had learned at school. And we were so excited to play that thing, you know, swapping it back and forth. My older brother also plays.
Yeah.
He used to play a lot back in the day, but now he's on strike with the other medics. But
at least he's leading the singing.
You know, but so that's that. But then yes, to your question, I realized a few things because if I'm on a stage and I want to express myself, then I'll do it in the way I know how to, right? And how do you make people respond to what you're doing? And it's really how you position yourself physically, as a personality, as your stage persona. And I learned a lot of things on the
tour.
Actually not on the tour. I was in the background. I was part of a horn section.
Yeah.
The day it hit me that you can have a horn section as a thing was I have a silly story from Cox Studio.
Yeah, Cox Studio. Yeah.
Season 2. We did season 1 in 2013, and we really struggled to play in the horn section because we had never done it. And the guy was like, we were almost getting fired, to be honest, because we were 3 really good horn players who just couldn't play together. It's a whole other thing, playing together. It's like singing in a group. You have to kind of balance your voices, that kind of stuff.
Strengths.
Yeah. So when the season ended, we took months of practice. You know, we would practice jazz standards. We got the section together. We're like, for our own names, we need to get this thing sounding nice.
And you guys are probably the best trumpet players around
we
at
were
that
then,
time.
yes. And then we
and you're struggling to harmonize.
It was crazy. No, just the confidence to articulate, to play clean, you know, just precision.
Yeah.
It was a problem. Everyone had a problem. So we go on season 2, and you know, season 1 we were like those guys who are messing up the music on stage. That was the horn section reputation.
Yeah.
Season 2 we come on and we almost didn't get the job. When we got the gig, and everything flipped because we were so in tune.
You guys had been doing the work.
We had been putting in work.
How much work were you doing? Like, what were you doing behind the scenes?
We did like 6 months of rehearsals just in a house, just trying to. And this is not to play even pop things. We were just like, we need to sound better. We need to sound better. Sorry, I think I'll have to switch off this phone because this guy keeps on calling me. We cut that out. I'll just put it on flight mode. I thought vibration and sumbua. It's bothering me. Yeah, so we put in a lot of work just to figure out how the music works, and then we found out. It hit me that people are beginning to like the concept of a horn section on stage.
Yes.
So more artists were like, yeah, we want those guys to play in our song. And then because the horn section had a different contract from the band, we were being paid by the song. The band had a contract for the whole season. So we were supposed to make less money. Because, I mean, like every song is X amount of money. If you don't appear on the song, you don't get paid.
I see.
We might have made more money because everyone was like, now, you guys need to be on my song. Every artist. So it's like, this is something.
The horns sound good.
The horns sound good. I can sell horns. And then we had this agreement that we need to show up. We need to either be dressed in suits, or we had like a whole dress code thing just between the 3 of us.
You all look so cool.
And this is not the Nairobi Horns.
I know. I watched that whole section in season 2, and I was watching you guys. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
You know? So that's the day I realized if you put men in suits and give them shiny instruments, they look nice on the picture. And that is the basis of the branding for Nairobi Horns Project.
Yeah.
There's guys in suits with shiny instruments. They look good on the photo. They can play well, even better, you know. And I was like, we just need to play everyone's gig. So we'll be the guys who bring the juice to your gig. If you have money, we get a section. We'll elevate, you know, your gig. And then a bit later, I was like, but I'm writing my own songs. Can't we play these songs and play our own music? And then people were doing jazz.
But that time
jazz,
Nairobi Horns still existed, I think, at that time, right?
No.
It came after.
Nairobi Horns came after because...
Oh, wow. After the lessons in Coke Studio, you guys were just like,
After season 3 even.
Yeah.
It took a while too. But the idea for Nairobi Horns that I got unscripted on a document that's still in my computer today was from season 2. And I had I had a 5-year plan from that set. You know.
And how did that 5-year plan look like? I mean, how did it unfold then?
Funny thing, it actually worked quite well because we did do, we got a lot done. It was one, get a brand, because also on Coke Studio, I learned about this concept of brand. And, you know, big brand, better pay.
Yes.
You know, people need to know who you are, and you have to have a certain vibe, and you have to sell message. Your messaging has to be stuck, whatever. So the 5-year plan worked out quite well. It was get a brand off the ground. For me, it was also to change the perception towards instrumentalists as leaders, and also to influence a whole movement of horn sections and horn players, because then that gave us relevance as innovators.
Yeah.
And then to change the perception of jazz as a smaller group, small group music for an elite or a certain group of people, to make it more mainstream.
Yeah.
And I was like, I realized we are always playing Stevie Wonder, whatever, you know, Kool and the Gang kind of stuff. Why can't we play Fadhili Williams and Issa and Nameless? And because this is the music that the people
we relate
play
to
for.
it.
We understand it.
Absolutely.
The Americans, they love Stevie Wonder because it's their music.
Yeah.
So Safaricom Jazz was doing that set. That was another milestone. Like, people just like, wow, this guy.
But you had to be ready for Safaricom Jazz.
Yeah.
That preparation. It's always, we just keep talking about preparation. Yeah.
Safaricom Jazz with Nairobi Horns was not my first gig with Safaricom Jazz.
Yeah.
I had been on the year before with AfroSync, with a smaller band. And then I think my understanding of brand, product, and just the business was getting better and better every day.
Yeah.
So a lot of things were done differently for Nairobi Horns as a case study in getting a brand off the ground. And that was fresh off my thesis thing that I had done I did a thesis on music business models in the Kenyan industry. So I did 6 months of data collection of how you make money from music.
Can I access that?
It's accessible.
That would be pretty cool.
It's accessible. It's there in the University of Nairobi library. But I can give it to you.
Yes.
That would be pretty cool to share, actually. Because it sounds pretty cool. And so this is you learning that actually I can. So you go study business models, especially around music, the music industry.
Just around music.
And then you go write a thesis.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So now you're building a brand.
Yeah.
And everything is beginning to fall into place.
Yeah.
There's Nairobi Horns Project, which became a very big thing as well.
Yeah.
But even within that Nairobi Horns Project, there's a certain rise. I saw within Nairobi Horns Project, and it's punctuated by a couple of individuals. And unfortunately, one of them, or fortunately, I don't know how to phrase that, is the late Bob Collymore as well, who had a significant influence in terms of your rise as well. Yeah.
I think that the model, because and I can't insist how scientific this thing was.
Is it?
For me, yes.
In terms of how you're going to make money?
It was a Gantt chart. It was a proper Gantt chart with timelines, with deliverables, with a budget. And then
write your stuff down
with milestone of things I needed to learn.
Yeah.
Because there are things I didn't know how to do that I needed to do. Like, okay, you need to learn how to do this kind of thing. You're right. So it helped that in my previous job I had gotten off. Nairobi Horns is not the first thing I've gotten off the ground, so that helped a lot. You know that in my previous job I got an NGO off the ground from scratch for 5 years and built an award-winning organization from that. That still exists now. It's 11 years since I left, and it still exists. The biggest organization funding education on the whole coast region. Something I was like the first guy who get off the ground. So the lessons from that, like they're just the things about systems.
Systems.
And I learned under scientists. The guys who I work with were all research scientists when I got off the ground doing that NGO thing. So systems, data, future projections, understanding how money works, some basic financial management kind of stuff, communicating your vision, the right people for the vision, that kind of stuff. So it was really like a book. I think Nairobi Horns is just like a different platform that I got to do it as well, because the first thing was to change how artists think about themselves. That was the hardest thing for me to do. Like tell these guys who've been playing, because everyone in Nairobi Horns I found in the industry.
Were they doing their own gig or?
They were all working with different artists as backing musicians.
I see.
Yeah, so I was the guy who arrived in town,
right?
But everyone was here, right? So
what are you telling the established guys who've been playing? You're a backup vocal. I mean, your horn is in the back.
If you're in the back, then you're in the back.
Okay.
Yes, and if you're in the back, and if you play in the back, generally you will act in the back. You will dress in the back.
Yes,
you'll project in the back. Not just musically, just generally.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you perceive yourself as any sort of leader, then you will walk differently. You will try to do things differently.
Yeah.
If you feel a certain way about yourself, you start doing things differently. It's just, I guess, the human mind, how it works. So that was the thing, to just convince people that we have a world-class product here in this city. It just needs to be put together. And it took me over a year to get that band together because people refused to join.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people had their own gigs in small places. They didn't see the vision to get on this risky bandwagon of... and the thing was like, so let's say the business, right? The jazz scene was the cafe. 3-piece bands in the corner, drinking coffee, playing covers from whatever. The jazz band was not a band on the big stage making people dance. It wasn't playing African music. It wasn't, they were not like a pop star. There was no personality that much from different places, So just like that energy, that was not there, So telling people to flip this.
So you're telling people to have a different mindset shift when it comes to how music has traditionally been done.
Yes.
Okay.
You have to, and
it's your vision. So you see it. You've done the work, you've done the business model, and you're like, something needs to shift here. And this is...
If you look at it in terms of people we call visionary, personal branding, for example, many more people know Elon Musk than SpaceX. We buy into Elon Musk.
Absolutely.
We bought into Steve Jobs,
So who leads first? Is the individual's branded? Okay.
Yes. You hate, or love things because of the people who carry these things, right? So if, like, say, what they call the charismatic CEO, I guess, these people have been able to like, what Elon has done is he's built a personal brand that is so strong that it's carried the whole business brand of his personal brand.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And we've seen that locally as well with some CEOs we can mention that since that guy left, I don't know which company.
We don't know what happened. Yes.
It's not the same. The company could be making more money now or even thriving. We're like, since Cliff is no longer there, we don't feel like...
the organization feels soulless or something is missing.
That company changed.
Yeah.
But that's the power of personal brand, because personal brand sells vision. Personal brand communicates. Right? Otherwise, it's like when you're saying you're leading the company from people don't see you.
Yeah.
People don't associate, things with you. Mama Mboga is a personal brand.
Yeah.
Wanjiko.
They represent honesty.
Yeah.
Hard work.
They represent hard work, freshness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time you say Mama Mboga, you let your guard down immediately. You don't negotiate.
Yeah.
Those groceries.
Yes.
You become, there's a way you react to Mama Mboga as a brand.
Yeah.
And when you hear Fundi Wanguo, you tense.
I know that handwriting for that tailor. Yes.
So it's just the power of that. That's the power of brand,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
the things that I've learned most that I didn't know at all before the music business, if I may call it, is branding. You know, that's probably my biggest learning is not just converting, but really, what's a brand?
What's the brand?
Yeah, what's the brand? So I've over the years become obsessed with. And what's a brand is what are you communicating? You know, what are you putting out? Because people respond to this. You know, and sometimes because my personal challenge was I don't like the limelight at all. I don't know how to put this. As a guy who was on stage with Nairobi Horns, speaking in the mic, I had to convince myself that people can't see me for me to be. You know, so if you say hi to me, I'm like, oh, someone said hi to me. What do they, you know,
that evolution has been interesting because nowadays I see you on stage and I'm like, who's that guy?
He's a beast.
It's
just amazing.
When I go on stage, I switch on. I have learned, let me tell you, I've learned everything I do on stage. Something, I mean, might look important. When I was chasing the trumpet chops, because you have to have your technique as an instrumentalist. Apart from your charisma, you have to know your instrument, and when people hear you play, people will know.
You know, I know that.
They'll know whether you know your craft.
Yes.
But isn't that with a lot of many things, whether it's a job?
It is, but then we play on a stage.
Right, actually live.
You elevate us on a platform.
It's not me going to do the work, then come in. It's like it's live. I'm doing it right here, right now.
And the results are instant. There's no monthly review.
Yeah.
You know, so I when I got into this practice, because I have done my fair share of crazy things practicing, and I got quite good. And then I would just go on a stage. I remember where I had a mall gig somewhere in Mombasa, and I would just focus on the microphone and I would play my head out. And then I met a trumpet player who flipped everything I thought I knew about trumpet playing. I see in the 2012 on the blogs, on the internet, the Pied Piper, the Dizzy Gillespie of hip hop, the Pied Piper, Kenyan trumpeter Awora Runga is blowing up in the States, right? And I like reaching out, like, Awora, how are you doing, man? I'm a Kenyan trumpet player like yourself, you know, you're doing good things, you know. Nice to meet you if you ever come. Yeah, and then he responded like, hey, oh man, that's nice. If I ever come, we'll hook up. Few months, wins a Grammy or whatever, tour. I was like, this guy. So 2013, Award comes to Kenya. Coke Studio, season 3. I was not on that season. But I went on the week he was here, and I see this guy with a vest on stage. He has such a commanding presence.
You can feel it.
I have never seen an instrumentalist with such commanding presence. And he's a very small guy. Huge personality. And I sit and I watch him because they're doing the remix Ligiso Rabbit. Yeah, he was the MD for that week. And Award would play until he literally collapses on the ground. Like every note he will put out will be like 150% through every note. The drum hits, he's up 5 feet in the air, you know. You couldn't hold him on stage. He's moving on the stage. Bee Gees, think of James Brown, but crazy. Yeah, and then he gets upset. Oh, I'm Mackinlay. Oh, yeah, it's nice. So we meet in Nairobi, finally. And I was thinking, oh, he's a showman, right? And then I tell him, there's this song I've been writing, you know, if you'd like to, I'd like to play with you in studio. And honestly, no one knew who I was. And the world is like, when is studio? I was like, tomorrow night. It's like, yeah, I'm coming through.
Wow. What if you didn't ask?
And I spent 10 hours in studio.
With him?
With him, recording this song that I've never released.
The story of Mackinlay's life. Gems just...
Nothing, just buried gems.
Yeah.
You know what happened?
Yeah.
In studio, I was shocked that he was a complete trumpet technician. Like, he is such a beast of a musician. On the horn, forget the lights are off, the razzmatazz is gone, He's just a guy playing the horn.
The guy has mastered his craft.
And he has an amazing sound. And we did this song. It's like, do it again. It's my song. I'm happy with it. No, it's not right. Guys, we need to get it together. Let's do it again. Guys, it's not.
For 10 hours.
We did that. We rehearsed, we prepped it. And then we just, at some point, we just sat and just played. Now we're like, no, we're just hanging out and recording. And this guy he understands the show bit and he has his chops. You know, and he's one of the guys who's really influenced my take on trumpet hip hop. And because I was like, yeah. And the phrasing, he will play things that people would respond to.
Mm-hmm.
He uses like 4 notes over and over, and the crowd goes wild, you know. He was here for a while, maybe I think a few weeks, and we would hang out full days in studio, just him teaching me things of the horn, you know. And then when he was going, he was like, yeah, you seem like you want to do this, but if you're still in doubt that you're a great trumpet player, if you're still in doubt that you want to do this, you should do this. And he gives me his horn. He left me his trumpet. Like, this is my...
The birth of Mackinlay.
Yes.
This is my Grammy.
And that was
trumpet.
2030.
This is
2013.
2014.
2014.
Yeah.
This is a year later.
Right after you...
Yeah.
That's when I was...
Like,
That's
right
such
after...
an affirmation.
Yeah.
So, and I learned so much from that guy in terms of, because we would rehearse in West Tea and then we would walk to Lavington.
So this was like your life-changing experience that completely
Just
changed.
for him he brought the pop to a place I understand.
Yeah.
Because naturally I'm not a pop star of any, I mean, that's not really where I'm a guy who wants to play my horn.
Yeah.
But he was like, you can play your horn and still be.
Yeah.
But you need to understand performance.
Yeah.
Performance is not how good you are on an instrument.
No.
It's putting up a show.
It's an experience. You're curating an experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the thing with like Nairobi Horns shows, like the band can play, like the energy, you can feel it on stage. People can do things like this. You know, the performance, the first gig was 45 minutes. After that, I couldn't even stand up because we put everything on that stage. I remember Victor, he just playing the trombone. He lay down and said, play the trombone. I was like, oh. And then Rabbi was on a speaker off the stage, like wants to jump into the crowd. It was wild. But then we were making a statement that I was saying, guys, the day we come out, then we come out.
So you guys elevated the craft. You guys knew exactly
completely.
We have to be really good at our craft.
It was very deliberate. Everything.
I'm excellent at what I do. And then now.
Everything was like, have you thought of this? Have you thought of the dressing? Have you thought of the music? Because the thing also, as musicians, you want to play some complicated things. How do you make them in a way that the crowd responds to them?
Yeah.
You know, and we were opening for Hugh Masekela. And
you cannot come subpar.
I mean,
and I had a song that I had composed years before called Mr. Masekela. And that was the first gig for Nairobi Horns, and it was a magical.
Did he play your song with you guys?
No, he was just he was like, yeah, it's nice.
Okay.
You know. So the craft is many things. Is just like is the business. Is your product, is your marketing, is your.
So that's you building the Nairobi Horns project, but it's the
brand,
product.
Yes, because I built, because for the first 4 years, there was no social media person.
Yeah.
I personally did everything.
You're the entrepreneur, you're the cleaner, everything.
Everything that went out from Nairobi Horns, the press statements, social media, even small things like Nairobi Horns has never had a photo that was not taken by a professional photographer. One.
Excellent, just standards.
You know? Because
Standard
before
systems.
that, when I was playing in other places, people would take these phone photos and they're like,
oh, it's rubbish, and you can tell.
They look.
Yeah, there's something wrong. Yeah.
They look bad, or they're not up to standard. So,
well, the phones have changed.
Yes, now things are, But then just that, because people invest in, if you invest in the craft, if you build this sound that shocks people in Nairobi and you put it online consistently, you're going to tour with it. It's a science, it's scientific, that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the business, I think, and it's just in every business, if your product is consistent, and you're communicating brand, which is communicating that we have this thing, we have the best hoodies in town.
Yeah.
Every day you're like, our hoodies are the best. Every day you're like, these are the only hoodies you need to have.
Yeah.
Every day is, do you have our hoodies? Every day is like, our hoodies will change your lives.
But you know what?
People
Let me
will
tell
start-
you.
yeah.
I just feel that there's a journey, there's been a process.
Yeah.
However, looking inward, I felt that your purpose those are story of your purpose coming out first before you started to, your purpose was then now tied into your vision.
Yeah.
That brought the people.
Yeah.
That created the presence.
Yeah.
And the people and the brand and the music that was Nairobi Horns. So I want to go back to purpose building, because if we didn't do the purpose, then we wouldn't have understood why 6 months of data collection is important. In order
Or
for you
6
to
months
be
of rehearsal
is important.
of your craft. You just sit
Exactly.
and build on that.
So let's talk about purpose building, because that is core, and it varies from people to people.
That's true.
But the process somehow
Yeah, I
brings
think
out the same output. Not the process. How do I say it? Purpose is
I
vital.
understand
Yeah.
you. I
Okay.
understand you.
All right.
You need to have. Let me rephrase what you say. You might have a fantastic piece of equipment called a car, right? V8 engine, whatever makes a good car. But then someone needs to drive it.
Yes.
In the way it's supposed to be driven to the places it should go. So if I have my Mercedes S660, which is costlier than, say, a Prado TX, it's not going to off-road. The Prado will still off-road better. This might be a costlier car, but then you're putting it in a place that it's not supposed to be. Because that brand, that build, customization, seats, whatever it is, it serves a very particular market for a very particular purpose. The people who are buying Mercedes, they're not buying the car.
Yeah.
Right? They're buying something else.
They're buying the purpose. Yeah.
It's like, this is how I need to be appearing in this.
Yeah.
Or, the off-roader is like, yeah, I'm a complete off-roader guy. This is who I am. What are you bringing to the meeting? Oh, I'll be in my VX. And it still works for both of them.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of purpose makes things easier, especially when the things kind of feel like they're not working, then the faith kicks in, because faith is built on purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're doing what you're supposed to do, the choice for me to say yes to music, because it's the thing that I knew very early in life that I did really, 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 really easily and naturally. I mean, I have scores for 15-piece brass band parts that I did at 14. That's 14-year-old. They're there, the yellow with age. All right. So when I was 12 and I joined the brass band, and it didn't take me a week to realize, it's like the world opened.
But this is you at 14, but you already joined. This is a way of life for you when you're younger. So these are things that are shaping you already in terms of music.
But the thing is, I didn't want to go to do music.
Yeah. You're busy doing management. I mean, you're busy working for an NGO, etc. Okay.
As a 12-year-old, I didn't ask my parents to take me to
Were
music
your parents
class.
musicians?
No.
Okay.
It was the brass. It was Salvation Army.
But even then, I didn't join.
Okay.
So what happened is it was my mom, because we grew up in a really rough neighborhood. The biggest problem if you had boys, and she had two, was drugs.
Yeah, and this is
And
Mombasa, of course,
violence.
coastal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And then just chilling, the coastal way of life. Yeah.
So being a proper African mother, she registered us for the brass band in church.
Absolutely.
And said,
you begin to see the early beginnings, your mother influencing you already in terms of music.
You guys will join. Not do you want to or not?
No.
I have informed you that
Saturday.
Go play and walk in the streets
that's
with
the
a brass
thing you're
band.
going to do. So I didn't go for the first rehearsal. I was like, nah, it's not my thing. Yeah, and then my mom did her thing.
Yeah.
It was a long lecture of, whatever. And then I went. So when I went to the brass band, right, I had done some music. We all did in art, craft, and music.
Yeah.
One day in day, and those things we didn't understand back in the day. And the teacher, the guy who taught me music, who is thankfully alive, he's an accountant.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
He's after the first lesson, I was like, it all makes sense.
Wow.
The penny dropped.
It opened. I can't express this, but it's like there was a closed door,
Yeah.
and then it opened, and I knew what was there. I was like, oh, so solfas I can hear. I can hear. I was like, I can hear things, and and it was frantic.
Yeah.
Like it was frantic, So because I had to, like some things, I had to walk to school every day. I would walk 14 kilometers to my high school every day.
Mm-hmm.
And
wait, one way?
No.
7. Okay.
Yeah.
That's still a lot.
Yeah. I was alive.
But it was normal.
I had a lot of time to practice my music.
Yes, you did.
I would sing.
And the sounds.
Yeah.
On the street, I would play the solfas. I would do my fingering, obviously the euphonium, and I would write things in my head. I would hear the things, and the journey to school will just go by, and I started playing off script. I did so many things. People were like, yeah, he's a musician.
Yeah.
But still, I didn't pursue the
Yeah.
musical journey. I went to school like any other good Kenyan and chose something else to do, and But what puts me on this path, because the conversation, a few things, but the one of the first ones, I don't know in which order was. I remember when at the time that Steve Jobs passed on, it's time that one of my friends from uni, he lost also his older bro to cancer, and we were very close to that guy. He was our older bro, because we used to go to his shop, hang out, and the guy just went, right? And Steve Jobs also. And then I was like learning about Apple. I had like a MacBook.
Yeah.
I had a small Apple. So I was like getting to Apple. And then I watched his speech at his old college, and said something like, if he said he lives every day like his last. I don't even know that speech. He said, I live, that
a very
thing.
famous speech. The one you connect the dots forward, not backwards. The Stanford
that
commemoration
particular
speech.
speech was, and my pa's bro had just died from cancer.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And I asked myself, because then I was like getting cancer aware, and I was like, if they told me today I have cancer, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it was very clear what I'm going to do.
I'm going to play music.
I was going to quit my job,
and
then if I have 6 months, I'm going to live in a studio and just record stuff.
And that's been your life ever since.
And then if I die, it's fine. Like, because I was like, all of a sudden, I wanted to leave music more than anything else behind if that happened to me. So that was one of the
catalyst.
I mean, but you can begin to see the and I can begin to see that journey in terms of your purpose. One of the things with Wago, we kind of, every guest who sits here, is it's so funny how your environment and your childhood shapes who you are, whether you like it or not. Your mom was very influential in terms of you getting into music.
Thank you,
really doesn't
mom.
Yeah. And then we're just observing you in terms of this time frame. Now that's the Mackinlay, the creative.
Yeah.
Now the most important thing, and I mean, and everything connects, and especially now you're building a brand. I know there's Afrolect, which has been a big thing. There's Mackinlay, the brand. There's Nairobi Horns Projects, the product. Right, and you're building other products as well. And it's interesting, like, and especially in this space you're in, what's that evolution currently? And by the way, Mackinlay did our music for this podcast, so thank you as well. That's pretty cool.
Shout out to Emmanuel.
Yes, absolutely. In the studio, it's pretty cool, and that's amazing. And thank you so much for the creativity. But then again, we are watching you evolve, and a lot of, and the problem with, especially around the music scene, is you need to learn how to make money. There's a business of music.
That's true.
And there's, I think I think you have a better analogy for it as
well. I think there's the business and there's the entertainment and music. For me, that's two different things.
Music seems more purpose.
Yes.
It's underpinned by purpose.
The craft, the art. But then again, you need to turn it into a business.
Yes. And sometimes pop comes into the way of that, but sometimes it elevates you.
I think pop is a great thing, because pop is the thing that carries the culture over.
It's the heartbeat of the culture.
Yeah. Whatever you like now that's old and gone was pop in that time.
Oh.
I'm
thinking of a different... Okay, yes.
So Mozart, whatever, that was pop.
It was pop.
At that time.
That was the thing that was popping.
Correct.
So now it's maybe become more niche, but then it's what... And I think it's important for you to get to a place where you impactful in whatever small, And I think as an artist, or even as anyone really, I think honesty comes through. You know, if you do your stuff with honesty, the honest truth that this is who I truly am, people see it.
Yeah.
You know, if you're honestly like the best shoemaker, people will feel it.
Yes.
There's just like, I went to Ongo's shoe shop and it's different. There's something about her and her shoes that's different. I can't put my finger on it. We all have that.
Absolutely.
You know?
But that's you being at your best in terms of your creativity, in terms of what you're creating as well.
But it's built up over time.
Over time, absolutely.
Yes, because preparation is it's the process, it's the iterative process over time that just makes you who you are now. Because 2013 you
always different.
Completely different.
I mean, 2013 you versus 2024 now
it's
completely different.
But it's iterative, very small, let me say targeted iterative processes over time.
That's true.
Because you've played different instruments.
Yeah.
But for the last 11 years, you have been mainly focused on
the trumpet.
On the trumpet.
The trumpet is a very, and this is general consensus, it's not a friendly instrument to play.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest instruments ever to pick up because it's very unforgiving.
Yeah.
If I don't play it,
I'll know.
For 2 weeks, even now.
What, really? Even now? I just thought like a bad trumpet note you'd know.
No, if I don't play it for 2 weeks, you might even tell. It's because your lips give up easily. And the trumpet is strange because the work happens on your lips, not really. I mean, your hands, yes, but you actually sing to the thing, or you buzz your lips or whatever we do that makes a sound. The trumpet needs you to have, there's a position it sits that people get dense, whatever it does. You get a droopy lip thing, you know, and that's great trumpeters players stopped. Louis Armstrong started singing because his lips gave up. That's why he became a singer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because so world-beating trumpeters have gotten lip injury and their careers have stopped.
Unlike lips get injured.
You know, if the trumpet depends on your teeth.
Correct.
If you lose your teeth, you can't play it again. If you get new teeth in, you have to learn to play it afresh. It's a weird history.
I'm trying to figure out my lips, and now I'm understanding. It makes sense because your lips kind of rest on your teeth.
Yes, absolutely, so you put it. That's what you do exactly every time. It's just putting the thing on your teeth like this. You know, so it's the mechanics of it. I'm not saying other instruments are easier, but physically, it's a very inconvenient instrument. You know, it feels like you're blowing into a straw. You know,
I'm interested in how when you look at the brands that you've built now.
Yes.
Mackinlay, the brand. Afrolect.
Yeah.
How are you guys shaping the music industry? How are you shaping the business of music?
Okay.
Because I think exchanging value is a very hard thing for a lot of musicians to do.
Yes.
And even many businesses, not just yours as well. How are you shaping that in terms of, I understand this is my business of music. I understand I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm also a producer, but I'm also a performer.
Other things,
How is that taking shape from your business model perspective? And then what do you see over the horizon in terms of how the music industry is actually moving around systemic issues that ail the music industry? Are you guys coming together? Are you guys still being kingpins in your little caves as well?
It's important.
Yeah.
I think if I look at the brands that we've done, creating value is good, but then selling value and getting, as you say, compensated for it is every business's challenge. Whoever they might be. The thing that I personally have tried to do is to continually innovate. You know, products.
Continually innovate
products.
You know, because the thing is, once you have, if you come to my show and you would love to come every week, and it's the same thing,
it's
you know,
and that's a hard thing to do, by the way, and especially in the gig economy as well.
Not really. If you because you don't do this on the fly, you plan.
Okay.
Because also there's something I'm learning now, artistic transition. The Mackinlay from 10 years ago was a different person with the energy, the market
experience.
who is your fan base? How old are they?
Yeah.
My fan base was 10 years younger.
That's true.
Now we all don't want to go out too late. We want.
No.
I mean,
Let's
things.
wrap it up by midnight.
It's like, well, I'm done. I said,
Yes, but then the point is, what am I selling to you in 10 years? Because what will you be doing in 10
In
years?
10
correct.
years.
Yeah.
And how can we connect on
You
that?
understand?
Yes.
Yeah, because if the day that we are 60, how am I making money from you?
Yeah.
It's you have to transition as an
But then
artist.
what happens? Are you
it's
just choosing
transitions
to grow
forwards,
up
backwards
with
now.
yeah, you're choosing to grow up with one group set, or you're also transitioning also with the ones growing up to
Product.
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 The products have to keep on changing. I'll give you, this will take a minute, but I'll give you a classic example, right? Who listens to Rumba?
Me.
It's
Me,
like
I
everyone's
do,
hands
I
is
do,
out.
Okay,
yes.
everyone listens to Rumba, right?
Yeah.
Why do you listen to it?
Oh, there's something about it.
Nostalgia.
Nostalgia.
Yet we all didn't like it as children
No.
because our folks were playing this boring music
Yeah.
that we rather not listen to.
Yeah.
Oh,
But now we are at the age where our folks are old,
Yeah.
they're maybe not in very good health. Rumba reminds you of your parents
Childhood,
when
yeah,
they were
your
strong.
parents,
Yes.
Your
good
parents were
times. You're
strong,
playing
they were
Rumba.
dancing. They
Mhm.
When
were,
you're playing Rumba, when you're
that is what
on a road trip,
Yes.
or
that is the thing.
Yeah.
That's why you listen to it, because
Sunday,
it brings you memories
yeah,
that you would like to
I
have.
actually have Sunday when it,
Sundowner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
You understand?
Yeah.
But so now that's why we listen to it.
Yeah.
And yet, if you look at the Rumba market as a market, from a performance,
Yeah.
the people who consume Rumba, are they driving? Now this is let's profile guys,
Okay.
which is a
Yeah.
bad thing to do.
archetyping. Yes.
Yeah. Is Rumba being played in a Pro Box or in a V8?
Oh.
Most likely. Which one? You have to choose one.
I don't know. Both.
No, you have to choose one. In a
V8.
V8,
Yeah.
right? Because this guy is sophisticated.
That's so true.
This guy is
Actually,
you understand?
it is a V8.
He's 55, 60. He's doing the finance. He moved from whatever he was.
Yeah.
He's now in Karen.
Living his best life.
Right?
Yeah. Self-actualized.
Did the Rumba bands move?
No.
Does this guy have access to Rumba live? Because it's being played in a place he can't go.
Not every time, but probably when he's in his hometown and he's gone to the local and there's a local.
He has to come down to the Rumba.
Okay.
That's market disconnect.
Yeah.
No one is targeting Rumba for this guy.
Yeah.
Because where does he go?
Correct.
How does he consume his Rumba?
Mm-hmm.
The way he was consuming his Rumba at
when he was younger,
at Karaoke Social Hall,
is very different.
He moved from Karaoke Social
Yes,
Hall.
even though it's nostalgic, he's still going to stay in Karen. He wants to stay in Karen.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So the Rumba market has to respond to that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's the money is there.
Yeah.
The artist is here.
Yes.
And half the time you find artists get stuck. The market is saying, but you never respond. And that's
too.
And it's so funny. Those are business lessons in terms of you create for the market and not the other way around.
And also, so when you say we innovate products, I mean, music is exactly that. It's a product.
Yeah.
It's just like toothpaste and
whatever
thing it is. It's exactly works in the same way.
Yeah.
So if the same decisions you think about when they say it, I saw this online a few days ago.
Yeah.
Why do they have to do Aquafresh in 3 colors? They're trying to convince you there are 3 ingredients in it.
Correct.
They could all be white.
Yes.
It's coloring. They could all be white. But you wouldn't buy into the fact that it's 3 ingredients because
it's 3 in 1.
You can't see them.
No, you can't.
It's basically
I'm buying the 3 in 1.
Yeah. But
who is consuming your Rumba?
It's
amazing.
the same thing. So when you innovate, so for me personally, like the things I'm doing, the place I'm at now, I've been concerned with passing the baton, yes, but also growing the next generation of musicians
and building your business, most importantly,
and being able to live off that while doing
Correct.
that. So that brought off Affluent Academy.
Affluent Academy,
and that was in response to the gap in the market.
Mm-hmm.
The music education we have could do better.
Mm-hmm.
The festivals, they give me platforms to showcase my product to a bigger audience. It's a bit more work, but then I actually tailor the experience more for you at the festival than I would say at a venue. the gigs we do for ourselves, I have more control
Yes.
because now I'm no longer
It's people
selling
who
you.
know you.
I have sold you Issa already.
Yep.
In the
We're
whatever,
inside.
in the jazz Issa thing. We did that.
Yeah.
What's next? So
Right.
now I'm like, oh yeah, you can sit down and there's Brian Sigu and Lisa Odor, and
I mean,
this is a different.
Oh wow, yeah.
It's
I'm really,
products.
liking how guys are repackaging
You
even
know?
the Rumba and the
Yeah.
new age sort
Yeah.
of.
So the
artists who
Rumba
can-
has come now to the young people.
It's
and
come
it's
full
a
circle.
full-
It's a
Feeding a
whole
new
new different
generation
experience.
who are feeding
It's
another
there.
generation.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And now they're getting their own Rumba.
Correct.
But it's so beautiful to watch you
It is.
become,
You know?
because I've attended some and I
Yeah.
love, it's just amazing. It's so creative and it's such a breath of fresh air, but it's still grounded in things I know and music
Things
that I
are
have
familiar.
grown up
Yeah.
with.
That's true. So you have to like really literally sit down
is
and
Beautiful.
ask yourself, what am I doing in 2030? You know,
A lot of things we take for granted
Now,
or don't plan
my-
for.
when you're 65, you're not going to have the energy. It's just the truth, and
Or the teeth.
we know that. Or the teeth.
Or the knees.
You know, or the knees. to do
Yeah.
that. It's true, and we know it,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and we can plan for it
Absolutely.
now, because then because the thing that COVID taught me is music is as important as medicine. I didn't think it was before.
By the way, we were really starved of entertainment
I-
during
I-
COVID.
I
It
didn't
was
think it was.
unbelievable.
Actually, after COVID, I felt like I'm doing something more meaningful.
Mm.
I was like, oh yeah, actually, this is like
You might not be a doctor saving
essential.
lives, but your
That's the
You're
thing.
saving
mental
hearts.
health, you're saving hearts
Yeah.
That's the thing.
and
But then
marriages.
also, you
and-
see,
Yes.
the pandemic, what it did is it's fast tracked the new world order
yeah.
in terms of consumption of content and use of
And even
music.
On demand.
even in terms of appreciation of the creativity space,
It's a different thing.
I feel like craft was elevated,
It's
creativity
been-
was
and-
elevated.
and it's changed. And I'll tell you this profound thing is, when we were kids, people who it was cooler to be a doctor and pilot. There was some list of professions.
Oh yeah,
that people
definitely.
wanted
That
but
is
then
definitely.
that was because and it was important for our parents more than for us.
And the government
to be
as well. The
those
government
things.
needed specific workers.
Yeah.
We needed doctors,
We needed
engineers.
a
So
workforce.
But
So-
then if you look at it also, the side is, if you grew up in the 50s, there were real health problems that they're not there now. So doctors were really valuable people.
absolutely.
Engineers, there was a lot more to sort then
Yeah.
as a doctor
Yeah.
than maybe.
I mean, you're important. You were keeping
understand.
people. Yeah. Yeah.
But now, content creators, musicians, it's been elevated, now being put on a pedestal.
Yeah.
That now people are like, these are the things, because it's what society depends
Yeah.
that decides it's important, that they apportion value to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now the value of creatives has gone up.
Has gone up.
But now for you guys, you've
know,
got to figure out how to extract that value.
You have to be with it, and you have to know that in the time we're going, how are people consuming your stuff?
Yeah. How will they be?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, you have to outpace them, because then you have to have a product ready for when
You
they're,
have to think about it.
yeah, in 2030.
You have to
You
take
have to
risks.
start creating the
You
product
have to-
now.
You have to take risks.
Yeah.
And say, this is what,
Yeah.
you know,
Do you still data collect then?
I don't think you ever stop
Yeah.
Yeah.
doing. I mean, not like I did before, but then
How?
if you look
What are
at
your
it,
methods?
it's just observation mostly, because when you're in the spaces that we are in, because we are out there a lot and we meet people.
Yeah.
So one, as a musician, this bad habit I have is I play with my eyes open.
Yeah. Watching, observing.
Even a movement of a hair in the room, I'm like, there's some response coming from there. This is what I should do. I literally do that, like when I'm doing a set for a gig. That's what I do. But then, just generally, you think about when you look at the trends, and music is more powerful now than it's ever been.
True.
I agree.
True.
You know, than it's ever been before, because everyone has it, needs it on their phone every day.
But it's very, I get that, but
yeah.
Just to segue into that, like something has happened recently where I was talking to some guys who are a DJ and some guys who are trying to create events for themselves, experiences. What's actually shifted as well, even amongst the younger demographic, is you can have a club, but they're not coming to drink like the old people used to drink, which is I want to drink till morning. They're chasing experiences. So what's happening even in the bar scene and the club scene, and that's where even people like Gecko are becoming so relevant, because what's happening at Gecko is, for example, Gecko has been curating amazing experiences. It's different every time.
Yeah.
One day you're seeing the casters, the whatever's playing at, you guys play there as well. I think the other day you were telling me there were like 500 performances at that little thing.
Yeah.
But what's happening in the music scene, and that's affecting bars as well, is they're struggling. Because patrons are just
people don't come in to drink
young
anymore.
people are not
We're not
behaving the
coming to
same
sit in,
way
yeah.
that guys used to behave, which is let's go dunda till morning in the same club. It's not happening. So clubs are also struggling to curate experiences as well. Right? And at the heart of it is music. Yeah, apparently it's a real thing. They're really struggling. The scene has shifted as well.
If the human being, I mean, we change clothes not because they have a problem. We're like, oh, now we don't want this type of clothes anymore. We want this type of clothes. We always changing. We always shifting.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're always shifting
and it's huge. The market shifts. And you've got to respond.
When you study, I've done a lot of study for fast food brands in the States, because they're quite well documented from how they came up. And I like watching those things.
Yeah.
And you see that people just stop eating certain things. Like, we don't want to eat that chicken anymore. We want this
coated, marinated,
fat-free. We don't want fat anymore.
Yeah.
Now it's sugar. Yes. Sugar is the enemy now. Yeah.
You have to be on it.
Yeah.
I mean, the brands that have stayed for long enough doing that stuff,
have been nimble
always
enough,
have to reinvent.
active enough. Yes, you have to pivot quickly.
Yeah.
So artists, especially, there's a tendency we can get stuck in, like, this is my art, this is me.
But in that life, generally, you're just stuck in terms of where you are, because it's familiar, it's comfortable, it's what you know. But meanwhile, the market is shifting, your value is shifting, you can't make money anymore, or
new audiences.
New audiences.
That is where the thing is. For me, that's the leading. If you hear me play every, I don't know, 5 weeks or 2 months, are you gonna come every time? And why? That's what I have to answer.
Because it can't be the same thing as listening to 2 months ago.
That's the thing. You're not gonna come back.
Yeah. Right.
That's been amazing.
Every good thing has got to come to an end. I think, Mackinlay, it's been an amazing session. I think we will have you back here. I just feel
come back.
I just feel like every time we just start to just get into like the
I think
really
let's come
stuff.
talk about brands, because now what I've the take home from my explorations in my biggest learning has actually been, and I'm not traditionally a marketer, is how to understand how brands work.
Absolutely.
Because now, as of this year, now we started working with brands.
Yeah.
To actually do strategy and the thing that I also stumbled upon, whatever is, like, brands just need music as a brand tool. Like, that's what they need. Take 5 is owned by Tusker from the 90s. That's what you remember about that advert.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the music.
It's the music.
That's there.
It's the cue. It's the they're called mnemonics. Say ding ding ding. You just know that's Coke. Coke Christmas or whatever it is.
That's the thing.
Santa Claus is coming, like mnemonics and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I've been working on that as well, just in this new space, and trying to understand, and also getting a client base.
Yeah, absolutely. We must have a masterclass on brands as well, in terms of how to build. Yeah.
So I'm learning.
Positioning.
I'm learning a lot about
trends.
Absolutely.
Staying ahead of it.
Yeah, I'm learning a lot about that. Yeah. So thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And
this was short.
It was not, by the way, it wasn't short. It just means that we have a lot more to cover. And thank you for your time. So yeah, I think it's a wrap. Please follow us on our socials at Conversations and Plugs and at Convos and Plugs. And I think at some point our website, where we want to post quite a lot of content at Conversations and Plugs, conversationsandplugs.com, right? So yeah, it's a wrap. Thanks.
Thank you.